A shroud of impenetrable darkness smothers the world, a funeral veil drawn over a realm consumed by despair. From the abyssal depths of the infernal gates, thick plumes of smoke and choking brimstone billow forth, suffocating the lands once bathed in divine radiance. The people have turned their backs on God, casting off his commandments and embracing the twisted dominion of hell. It is a bleak and harrowing era, where nearly a third of humanity has forsaken the holy word, kneeling instead before the idols of the abyss. These wayward souls now form the core of the Heretic Legions, the primary military force of hell on earth. Composed of the damned and the depraved, these legions march to war under the banners of sacrilege, in their existence a grotesque mockery of divine order. After unleashing of the Hellgate, a third of Earth decided to bow down to these new lords of darkness. They enlisted willingly or not into the vast hordes of the unfaithful. These now fueled the armies of the heretics to expand the hellish domain on Earth, spreading sin and hate, fear and chaos. These are the followers of hell, the traitors to humanity. Welcome back to Trench Crusade, and welcome to the faction of the Heretic Legion. After the taking of the Levant, a new rule settled over the land, a demonic rule, as a third of humanity bowed to its hellish masters and established the hellish dominion on earth. Within these cursed dominions, the architecture itself is a reflection of the sheer depravity that has taken root. Great inverted pyramids and abyssal towers plunge deep into the blackened earth, their obsidian structures lined with altars drenched in the lifeblood of ceaseless sacrifices. The weeping cries of captives echo through the gloom, their suffering prolonged over weeks as their bodies slowly flayed and mutilated upon infernal stone slabs. Above these pits of torment, great cathedrals dedicated to the princes of hell dangle precariously from arches of volcanic rock, their interiors adorned with blood-stained icons and statues that leer with unholy delight. Crucifixions are abound, but in this grotesque parody of salvation, the condemned are affixed to their crosses upside down, their suffering a spectacle for the twisted congregations of the abyss. But it is not only the ritualistic atrocities that fuel the war machine of hell. Beneath the surface of these forsaken cities, vast foundries churn day and night, their iron hearts fueled by the tormented flesh of the damned. Factories composed of pulsating, mutilated bodies melded with blackened steel forge unholy weapons of war. Their twisted designs, guided by the hands of Tartarus's most wicked artisans. Infernal alchemists, tutored by the dark whispers of their demonic patrons, toil over monstrous engines of destruction. Armoured behemoths clad in nightmare-forged metal, and weapons so vast and complex that no ordinary human mind could ever conceive them. The spoils of this accursed industry flood into the hands of the Heretic Legions, arming them for their ceaseless crusade against heaven itself. In a desperate bid to combat the encroaching tide of darkness, spies are dispatched into the territories of hell, their mission sanctioned by the highest authority of the Church, the Cardinal Protector himself. Few ever return. Most are captured, their fates sealed in torment, their mutilated forms never seen again. The rare few that do emerge from the clutches of the abyss return as shattered husks of men, their minds burdened with visions too ghastly for mortal comprehension. Some are sent back in pieces, most notably their severed heads, delivered in ornate boxes to the citadel of New Antioch. These grisly trophies bear cruelly carved runes, bleeding profane messages that blaspheme the Holy Trinity. For those who manage to endure their ordeal and live to tell of it, their whispered accounts speak of unfathomable horrors. Firstborn children cast screaming into the gaping mouths of molten statues devoted to Baal, human flesh sold like common livestock in infernal marketplaces, and the grotesque revelry of the damned, who carve away their own flesh in ecstatic offerings to the golden calf. Though the Heretic Legions are primarily composed of fallen men, hell does not wage war with mortals alone. Alongside these corrupted souls march the dreadful progeny of the abyss, war beasts, grotesque amalgamations of captured creatures and infernal possession, and the dreaded artillery witches, sorceresses who wield their bodies as living conduits for demonic fire, their shrieking spells raining devastation upon the forces of the faithful. In this nightmarish theatre of war, the damned and the monstrous march as one, united by the bonds of their eternal suffering. The air trembles with screams of the tormented, the sky burns with the fury of celestial retribution, and the earth itself weeps under the weight of the Heretic Legion's relentless advance. This war is unending, its stakes beyond comprehension. The damned will not cease their march until the throne of heaven is cast down, or until the last wretched soul is torn from the clutches of the abyss. This is the war of the ages, the eternal struggle between salvation and oblivion. Among the blighted populace that endures within these nightmarish strongholds, there exists no higher honour than to take up arms in the service of hell. To be a warrior in the armies of the damned is to claim a place of prestige, yet the path to such an ignoble fate is paved with agony. Those who seek to join the Heretic Legions must embark upon a harrowing pilgrimage to the great bronze gates of hell itself, where even the mere proximity to its infernal heat sears both flesh and soul. The path leading to these dread portals, known as the Valley of Tears, is a hellscape of suffering, a road paved with the lamentations of tormented souls, their wretched forms writhing in unceasing agony. Great mounds of charred bodies line the way, the smouldering remnants of those who faltered, their sins deemed insufficient to merit true damnation. These forsaken beings will suffer here until the end of days, neither alive nor fully dead, their moans forming a ceaseless dirge of despair. Only those who endured the torment and reached the gates themselves are deemed worthy of initiation. There they take unbreakable vows that bind their essence to infernal legions for all eternity, their bodies forever branded with the mark of the archdevil who has claimed them. The great armories of hell are then thrown open to them, outfitting them with blasphemous armaments and twisted relics of war. Heretic priests, their bodies adorned with flesh-wrought vestments, invoke the names of their dark lords, welcoming the new recruits into their cursed fold. Thus, a new heretic legionary is born, another soul damned beyond salvation. Yet, amongst these willing thralls, there exists those who push further still, pressing beyond the thresholds of damnation itself. These are the Anointed, the elite of the Heretic Legions, paragons of unholy might and unwavering devotion to the abyss. They journey past the gates, stepping into the heart of hell itself, their very flesh igniting under the unrelenting heat. They do not scream, but their agony is baptism in damnation. Their bodies blacken, and their flesh forever charred and unhealing, yet, in exchange, they are granted infernal strength beyond mortal reckoning. Clad in the fearsome heavy Gehenna plate, their scarred forms exude a terrifying aura, and it is said that to look into their eyes is to glimpse into the ceaseless fires of hell reflected within. Some go further still. There are those who seek to transcend mortality altogether, embracing the ultimate blasphemy, suicide in the name of hell. Though such an act is often in vain, for the lords of the abyss delight in betrayal as much as they do conquest. There are a few whose depravity is so absolute that even the Redeemer's laws of death cannot contain them. These wretched souls are reborn as choristers, walking abominations whose severed heads sing ceaseless hymns of infernal praise. Their cacophony of discordant chants rends the sanity of all who hear it, their unholy voices so piercing that the ears of the righteous bleed at their sound. Among the army of hell are the Warwolf assault beasts. The Warwolf assault beasts are monstrous war creatures bred in the deepest pits of hell to serve as living siege engines in the Great War. Towering over mortal soldiers, these abominable beasts embody sheer brutality and relentless aggression. Their forms, twisted by infernal alchemy and dark sorcery, they are integral to the part of hell's war strategy. Capable of breaking through fortified positions, devastating battle lines, and sowing terror among the faithful. The origins of the Warwolves lie in Hell's abyssal breeding pits. When captured, mortal beasts are fused with demonic essence. These creatures are subjected to extensive modifications, their flesh reshaped through dark rituals to enhance their size, strength, and endurance. The strongest werewolves are created from hellhounds and other infernal predators, their original forms barely recognizable after undergoing generations of enhancements. Each werewolf is bound to a handler, usually a heretic beastmaster or an infernal sorcerer, who controls the creature through a combination of pain and infernal commands. These handlers ensure that the werewolves remain focused on their objectives, directing them towards critical points in the battle with cruel precision. Werewolf assault beasts are massive, their bodies covered in thick, iron-hard hides, resistant to conventional weaponry. Their jaws can crush armor with ease, while their razor-sharp claws rend through flesh and steel alike. Some variants are equipped with infernal plating and spiked exoskeletons, making them even more formidable in direct combat. In battle, werewolves function as living battering rams, charging through enemy lines with devastating force. Different breeds of werewolves have been developed to suit various battlefield roles. Some of the most infamous include Hellfire werewolves. These werewolves are capable of exhaling gouts of searing flames. These beasts are used to incinerate defenders and clear entrenched positions. Plague wolves are infected with demonic blight. Their bites spread disease and corruption, turning fallen enemies into twisted undead abominations. Dreadfang werewolves are engineered for stealth. These are smaller, more agile variants and excel in night raids and assassination missions. The mere sight of werewolves on the battlefield is enough to send shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned warriors. Their effectiveness has been demonstrated in countless battles, their relentless assaults responsible for the fall of many faithful strongholds. Even when defeated, their destruction often requires immense resources and casualties. The werewolf assault beasts remain a terrifying symbol of Hell's relentless war, embodying the infernal force's willingness to blend raw savagery with strategic warfare. As long as the Great War continues, these monstrous warbeasts will remain a dire threat to the forces of the faithful. Heretic priests are twisted counterparts to the faithful clergy, having forsaken divine grace in favour of the power granted by Hell's dark gods. Serving as intermediaries between the mortal legions and their infernal overlords, these corrupted priests wield unholy magic and spread blasphemous doctrines. They oversee the spiritual corruption of their followers. Their presence on the battlefield ensures that the Heretic Legion remain unwavering in their service to the infernal hierarchy. Few willingly become heretic priests. Most are former clergy who have fallen to temptation, despair, or the lure of forbidden knowledge. Some are captured faithful priests who have been broken through torture and dark pacts, while others are scholars and sorcerers who sought power beyond mortal comprehension. Their initiation into the infernal priesthood often requires a ritual desecration of sacred places, the sacrifice of the innocent, or the direct branding of their souls by demonic entities. Heretic priests wield terrifying abilities, acting as both spellcasters and spiritual leaders for the damned. Their dark blessings and infernal rites bolster the strength of the Heretic Legions while sowing fear and despair among the faithful. Heretic priests lead infernal ceremonies, guide legions in battle, and serve as conduits for their demonic master's will. They are responsible for converting prisoners, overseeing the spiritual subjugation of conquered lands, and ensuring that Hell's influence spreads ever further. Feared and despised in equal measure, they stand as living proof of the horrors that await those who stray from the light. From an early age, a select group of heretic youth are chosen to be raised as death commandos. Undergoing brutal training beyond the gates of Hell, few survive the grueling trials, but those who emerge are some of the most elite warriors of the Heretic Legions, silent, merciless assassins who bring death without warning. Barracked in the 7th Circle of Inferno, These operatives are trained by the most infamous killers, their instructions being the damned souls of history's greatest murderers. They master an arsenal of weapons and poisons under the tutelage of the personal guard of the archdevil Beleth, learning to move like shadows through the battlefield, leaving only death in their wake. Their signature weapon, the Tartarus Claw, are forged in Hell's deepest forges and quenched in the waters of the river Styx. Their venom deadlier than any known toxin. Many carry silenced firearms, ensuring their targets fall unseen and unheard. Equipped with advanced stealth generators, powered by the heart of an innocent and infused with infernal sorcery, they can evade even the watchful eyes of the divine. Once their training is complete, the Death Commandos emerge from the abyss as ghosts of carnage, feared by the faithful above all other heretic troops. Among their ranks, 3 names stand out in infamy: Cain, Barabbas, and Haman. These are the assassins responsible for the simultaneous murders of the Supreme Pontiff, the High Prophetess Aliyah, and the Holy Roman Emperor in 1894. This act of precision and ruthlessness shattered the Church's leadership and allowed the Heretic Legions to launch a devastating offensive across the Levant and Europe. As a final act of devotion, every Death Commando undergoes the ceremonial removal of their tongue, ensuring that they will never speak of what they have learned. Their eerie silence only deepens their terrifying mystique, as they communicate solely through an intricate system of hand signals known only to their kind. Moving like phantoms, they bring annihilation to the faithful, striking from the darkness before vanishing once more into the shadows of war. From the moment they are born, heretics are taught that the god-tyrant Yahweh demands submission, but some refuse to bow. These defiant souls, consumed by hatred for the celestial order, choose to commit ritual suicide as an act of ultimate defiance. Knowing they lack the power to wound the divine, they spit in his face with their own destruction. This is considered a mortal sin, and to take one's life in tribute to hell is an even greater affront to God. Among the heretic, those born with powerful voice, but lacking the means to ascend the ranks, may find a dark purpose, becoming a chorister. To undergo this transformation, supplicants journey to the black altars, hidden deep within the inverted pyramids, dedicated to the archdevils. There, clad in robes of damnation, they lay upon the altar and carve unholy runes into their own flesh. Their pain is their offering. The deeper they cut, the greater their devotion. And the most fanatical slit their own throats, striving to sever flesh and voice alike before their spirits are cast into the abyss. Most perish and are cast into the lake of fire, never to rise again, but the most devoted are reborn after 9 days, their corpses lurching back to unholy life. Completing their grisly beheading, they lift their severed heads high, from which pours a never-ending hymn learned in the inferno. From their open wounds, cold blood gushes forth, forming diabolic sigils that shift and reshape to mirror their unholy canticles. Drawn by the unseen force, they march to the front lines, seeking a warband to join. When the choristers sing, their dirges penetrate the minds of their enemies, filling them with horrific visions of the pits of hell. The faithful, upon hearing their unearthly chorus, find their wills sapped and their limbs weak, as if the very fires of the abyss are consuming them. Their songs are often the first sound a new soldier hears on the battlefield, a foreboding prophecy of hell's inevitable triumph over heaven. The infamous military hospice of New Antioch contains an entire wing dedicated to those who have never recovered from hearing the song of the chorister. These broken souls lie strapped to iron-framed beds, endlessly screaming about the world to come, where darkness will reign eternal, illuminated only by flames that never die. The Heretic Legions employ a myriad of infernal entities to wage their unholy war against the forces of heaven and the Church. Among these dark instruments of warfare, the artillery witches stand out as particularly enigmatic and formidable. These beings, shrouded in mystery, serve as living artillery units, bringing devastation to the battlefield with their uncanny abilities. Artillery witches are characterized by their lithe forms and strange garments, which may seem out of place amidst the chaos of war. However, they are among Hell's most dangerous and mysterious creations, possessing the power to pull ordnance directly from the factories of Hell's third circle. They can obliterate enemy fortifications with a mere wave of their hand. These witches are completely mute, and no one has ever seen their faces. Some question if they are even living, and there are tales that they too were manufactured in Hell. They can pull an infinite number of infernal bombs from a portal to Hell that they manifest at will. Their infernal explosives appear in their hand from a gate of midnight blackness. The origins of the artillery witches are shrouded in mystery. Their mute nature and concealed faces lead to speculation about their true nature. Some believe they are not living beings at all, but constructs manufactured in Hell's infernal factories. Their ability to manifest infernal bombs suggests a direct connection to Hell's third circle, indicating a level of power and control that surpasses that of the ordinary heretic. Artillery witches exemplify the fusion of dark magic and industrial warfare that defines the Heretic Legion's approach to combat. Their presence on the battlefield not only provides a psychological weapon, instilling fear and uncertainty in the hearts of their enemies, the sight of these enigmatic figures silently unleashes destruction, embodies the relentless and unearthly nature of the Heretic Legion's campaign against the forces of heaven and the Church. Artillery witches are a testament to the dark ingenuity of the Heretic Legions. Their unique abilities and mysterious origins make them a formidable presence on the battlefield, embodying the fusion of infernal magic and industrial warfare that characterizes this grim war. The term Wretched refers to the enslaved individuals conscripted into the ranks of the Heretic Legions and the court of the seven-headed serpent. Their existence is marked by ceaseless suffering, as they are subjected to back-breaking labor in infernal factories, slaughtered for sustenance, or, in the most harrowing of fates, sold to demonic entities and transported through the Hellgate. The origins of the Wretched are diverse. Many are captives from battles or raids conducted by heretic war bands, while others are adventurers who ventured too far into cursed territories and fell into the clutches of ever-watchful patrols. Within the domains of the damned, these unfortunate souls become a form of currency, with heretic priests often paying their taxes to demonic overlords in the flesh of the captured. Life for the Wretched is a relentless torment. They are worked to death in factories, butchered for meat, or worst of all, sold to the agents of the court of the seven-headed serpent. However, a singular, perilous path to a semblance of freedom exists. The Wretched can volunteer to serve in the Heretic Legions as the lowest tier of penal troops. This decision, born out of sheer desperation, involves being branded with cursed, flesh-eating tattoos to prevent escape, and being heavily drugged to dull their will while maintaining aggression. Their lives are expended carelessly by heretic elites, as their deaths in battle are considered virtuous deeds rewarded by their infernal patrons. The court of the seven-headed serpent subjects the Wretched to even more abominable fates. Devoid of demonic blood, these individuals are used as disposable shock troops, or as subjects of torture to fuel the goetic magic of sorcerers and other practitioners of the dark arts. Captured during hunts, sold to devils within heretic domains, or ensnared after wandering into areas where boundaries between worlds are thin, their minds are scarred by the witnessing of horrors of damnation while still alive. The existence of the Wretched is a testament to the depths of human despair and the lengths to which individuals will go to escape unending torment. Their plight serves as a grim reminder of the horrors that unfold when the boundaries between the mortal realm and infernal domains are shattered. As the heretic dominions expand across the land, more and more fall to the devilish overlords. It is up to you to lead these demonic forces in their war against heaven. This is the faction of the Heretic Legion. Okay, so this is added in like after. So usually I do this after I've just finished recording the video and I talk about how much I like the faction. But this is on the day that I'm going to upload this video, where yesterday we passed 1,000 subscribers. Now, that is insane to me, and I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos and subscribing and liking. So I want to just say thank you guys so much. And as I'm recording this now, the next day we're already on 1,019. So hey, we might be in 2,000 in, I don't know, the next month or so. That would be fantastic. So if you guys haven't subscribed already, please do. And thank you guys for watching the videos. Honestly, the Heretic Legions are, I wouldn't say that they're not my favourite of the factions, to be honest. I find some of their designs are quite, not boring, but they're just not, they're not my style. Especially Corsairs. I think they're such a cool concept, but I absolutely like, oh, they gross me out in the perfect way, I must admit. It's brilliant design. But oh, they're so creepy to me. And I know Death Commandos though. Death Commandos are up there with Paladins for me in terms of just lore and character design. I think they look so cool, so imposing. And yeah, I just don't really have much to say about the Heretic Legion, sadly. I still really like them. I think every faction in Crusade has at least one redeemable quality, or one like really cool thing that's better than any other faction. Now, on to what is coming up next. I haven't actually checked the poll, because last time I checked we had managed to get, oh goodness, it's still so the poll currently, as I'm looking at it, is 50-50. Exact split, 42 votes, 50% they go to the Black Rel, 50% they go to the Seven-Headed Serpent. I'm not exactly sure what to do with this information, so I guess the next vote wins. So whenever someone votes on this, so I guess that might delay the video a little bit. Hopefully someone votes not soon, so I know what I should start working on. Thank you guys again so much for getting me to 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you in the next video.